Hello and welcome to another homebrew review. Last time we had Mappy for the Atari 2600, and as I said, I have another game lying around, and it's this one here, Scramble. This is also an arcade conversion. The game was originally by Konami, made in 1981, and it's a side-scrolling space shooter. So very typical game, I would say. You've got your jet, and you have two weapons, a main gun and some bombs or some stuff, and you have to destroy all the enemies basically, and you need to try not to get killed, and every hit is basically deadly. You don't have any shields. Again, this is a very professionally made thing. It doesn't come with a box, but it comes with a manual and some other goodies. So you get again this very nicely made, professionally done cartridge. Here as well, I bought the PAL 60 version. Make sure to pick that one up if you have a TV that's compatible with it to reduce flickering. NTSC people will have 60 Hz anyway, so that's not a big deal. Okay, so the cartridge is very nice. It's again a game from Champ Games, John Champeau being the lead developer behind all this. And you get a bunch of things with the orders from the Atari store. So for this game you get the Scramble manual. We will have a look in a second. And of course some flyer here for the Atari Age store. Breathe new life into your favorite Atari, so they don't only have stuff for the 2600 but also for the 7800, for the Jaguar, and I think even for the 5200. So yeah, you can definitely check out their games. Let's pick up the light here a bit. A lot of stuff for the Atari. We already know Mappy, but there's a lot of different games. Oh, this looks quite nice. Defender of the Crown for the Jaguar. That's impressive. Yeah, please do check it out. It's definitely worthwhile if you have any Atari console or ever owned an Atari 8-bit computer. Then, of course, you get the poster, which is basically the cartridge label in bigger, so that's a nice thing. Then you get a couple of Atari Age stickers, an invitation to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Well, at least I do get this because I'm filming this before October 2019, and yeah, you will get to go there if you're probably in the area. I won't fly over there. That's way too expensive for me. But nice thing that you are invited to all the nice conventions. Another sticker. Feedback form. Thanks for your purchases. Well, do we have a new favorite homebrew? Let's see. An explanation. What are homebrew games? Yeah, I think we know what a homebrew game is, but that's very nice. You can probably give this to your friends if they don't know what it is. And last but not least, you get high quality cardboard so that the stuff doesn't get bent in the mail. Alright, let's have a look at the manual. So it comes again with a very nice cartoon comic-y thing. The backstory, which is rather thin with Scramble. There are evil aliens, and you have to destroy them. And here you already see a little bit of gameplay on the screen. And you have to destroy the central command center at the end of each level, and then you will go to the next alien base where it will get harder to fight against the aliens. Then a short 2 pages about the controls. You have 4 difficulties: Novice, Standard, Advanced and Expert. I'm playing on Novice because the game is hard enough for me as it is, and the left difficulty, little typo, switch toggles between burst mode and single shot mode being a bit more hard, I would say. The burst mode is basically auto fire, but you have to continually do that. It fires 3 missiles and 2 bombs maximum, and then you have to press again. And the single shot mode, yeah, you have to press constantly, trigger. And other controls, joystick up and down, left and right, it's the same as in Mappy. It cycles through the attract mode screens and changes difficulty. You can also pause with the black and white switch on the Atari 2600, which is nice. Controllers, it supports the joystick, the CX40 for example, and also gamepad. Joystick is probably fine if you have like an arcade style controller. However, I tried to play it with the CX40 and my hands were hurting after 5 minutes of gameplay, because you have to fire and push the switch all the time, and the CX40 is not meant for that. So I definitely advise you to use a gamepad. And the nice thing is that the standard Sega Mega Drive gamepad or Genesis gamepad will work on the Atari. And then you have button B for the missiles and button C for the bombs. What are they? I guess the bombs, yeah. And it will be auto-detected on power-up. So this is definitely what you want to use. Anything else, apart maybe from an arcade stick controller, is definitely hurting too much. So forget about the CX40 for this game. It's definitely not worth it. Scoring, yeah, you get a lot of points. You've got 2 different kinds of rockets. One, the stationary rocket, and then the launched rocket gives different points. And some flying saucers, I guess. Fuel dumps or fuel tanks, which you need to shoot because you need to refuel your ship. And then some other bases and stuff, which give you extra points. High scores will be kept if you have a save key and the usual stuff. And when you succeed through all the different levels and get up to the base, you will advance to the next level, which will be faster, harder, and the usual stuff. So an endless game, basically. And I didn't manage to beat the first base yet, but using the Mega Drive controller was already giving me much of an advantage compared to the joystick. So I managed to go to the 5th part of the first level. I think the next one would be the 6th, where there's supposed to be a labyrinth, and then in the end the main base. But I haven't gotten to that yet, so it's a tough game, I think. At least you need to learn it quite a bit. Yeah, that's that. There's the credits. John Champeau being the main designer and coder. Nathan Strum, who also worked on Mappy. Music and sound effects and sound driver by Bob De Crescenzo. Additional sound effects by Mike Haas, etc., etc. And published by Atari Age. Very nice. So, all in all, very professional production. And again, I think we should check out the gameplay. I must say, at first, only playing with the joystick, I thought, wow, this is a hard game and it's no fun at all. But when switching to the proper controller, it's actually quite a fun game, and you can start on the novice level, which gives you already quite nice success. But you definitely have to train for that game, because there's so much going on, especially on the harder levels. A lot of rockets launching, and yeah, there's a lot of action in this game, definitely. And I will definitely play this more in the future, so I can recommend it. And but now we should take a look at the actual gameplay. So the game starts up in the attract mode, where you can select your difficulty level, and we'll be sticking with novice here. It will also show you the score table, and some high score information will also be shown, which can be saved with the save key, but I don't have that yet. So let's just jump into the game. And you control the little jet fighter on the left, and you can go left, right, up and down to evade your enemies. If you have only one joystick, the fire button will launch all the different weapons that you have, which is the missile, which shoots 3 missiles before having to reload, and the 2 bombs, which basically drift down in a like 90-degree angle, as you can see here. And there will be rockets launched to intercept you. There will be fuel tanks like this one here, the pink one with the F, and you have to shoot them regularly because down at the bottom you see the orange fuel bar. When it runs out, you lose a life, obviously. And interesting enough, it's weird that you have to shoot the fuel tanks in order to get fuel, which doesn't make a lot of sense, yeah. But here we are in the second part of the first level. Some weird saucers are attacking you right now. The scrolling isn't smooth, I have to admit, but that is definitely a limitation of the Atari. That you get such a side-scrolling shooter at all is already pretty impressive, especially with the number of sprites and enemy action on the screen as there is. You can see that the sprites of the objects at the bottom are already a bit flickery. This is due to the limitation of the Atari that you can only have 2 sprites on every scan line. Here we get to the third stage of the first level, where you are attacked by meteors, which can't be shot, but I'm firing here anyway to destroy stuff on the ground. And actually I wouldn't need to fire the missiles because they can't hit anything here. So with the joystick you would fire them anyway, but with the gamepad you can just fire the bombs at this stage. The game doesn't have any soundtrack worthy of note compared to Mappy, but the sound effects are nice. They are not particularly annoying because sometimes with the shooter games you really want to turn off the sound, but here it's a nice barrage of shooting and explosion sounds. I wouldn't turn it up too far, but it helps with the game as a feedback, sort of. The graphics are primitive by today's standards, of course, but still pretty complex and nice for the 2600, and the flicker is reduced to a minimal amount, and I think it's not very noticeable because the stuff that is moving on the screen usually doesn't flicker. Only the parts at the bottom will flicker once in a while, but as I said, it's not that annoying at all. As with many of the homebrew productions, the quality is definitely better than most of the games that have been published in the lifetime of the Atari 2600, and it is really nice to see that people still put so much effort into this platform and produce games that are actually really fun to play and are, well, more primitive of course than modern installments of games, but I think this simplicity also is what makes these games so nice, because you can just go there, put in a cartridge, play for like 10, 15 or even 20 minutes, then turn off the game and have had a lot of fun actually, and without having to worry that you need to save your game or what your progress was in the, I don't know, like Diablo 3 or whatever game you have on your modern consoles. So yeah, I do like this game and I can definitely recommend it. Yeah, and I will have to check out more of these homebrews in the future, because they definitely make the Atari a worthwhile platform, even more than 40 years actually, after its release. So all there's left to do for me is to practice more and to finally be able to pass the 5th stage and get to the enemy base and destroy it. I think this will take me a couple of days more, and I'm interested in seeing what you think of this game. Did you play the original in the arcades back in the day, or did you try out this homebrew or other conversions of it? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's about all I can say about the gameplay. Okay, so that's it. You saw the game, and I have to admit I started to really like it, and I would recommend that you check it out. I will try to find if there's a link to a demo or beta ROM maybe available, because that's always a bit of a problem with these homebrews. The final versions are only on cartridge usually, but beta or demo versions usually get released so that you can test it out before buying it, because let's face it, you pay quite a significant amount of money for these games, and I think it's well deserved for most of the part, but it's also down to taste if you like the game or not. So it's nice if you have a demo to check out on your emulator or your Harmony cartridge. And if I find something, I will put it down in the video description. Other than that, that's it for today. As usual, please do subscribe to my channel, because then you will be hopefully notified of new videos. And you can also click the bell. I hardly ever do that for any channels, honestly, because I don't like notifications. I just like to poll more my subscribed stuff. But if you rather want to be notified, then make sure to click the bell. If not, that's also okay. Definitely give me a like or a dislike, depending on how you felt about this video. Leave a comment, and I hope to see you soon.